Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Untitled Reviews. Now, it looks to be the case that HyperX of all brands seem to be on a roll with putting out some incredible peripherals at the moment. First of all, it was their HyperX Cloud Alpha wireless headset that recently released with its up to 300 hours of battery life. And now, on your screen at the moment is the brand's latest keyboard. It's the rather compact HyperX Alloy Origins 65, which is the latest in their rather long-running kind of alloy keyboard series. This one offers a 65% layout, snappy red switches, and some rather sumptuous lighting. And it can be yours for just $99.99. Let's see how it stacks up against the competition, shall we? Inside the box, HyperX are actually quite generous. You not only get the keyboard itself complete with detachable USB-C braided cable, alongside an instruction manual, warranty card, and some rather nice added extra patterned keycaps, including a spacebar. So, first things first, design and, well, build quality, of course. How does the Alloy Origins 65 feel? Well, there's no doubt really that it's quite the beast of a keyboard. For what is such a compact keyboard, it doesn't half feel rather hefty. As you'll notice from when I flip it up, it's quite a thick board for something that's only 65% in size compared to a normal keyboard, and as a result of its rather thick metal backplate and general construction, it's rather sturdy and hard wearing, as is reflected, I suppose, within that 830 gram weight. That does include the cable, by the way. As you'll notice, it's more of a smaller footprint keyboard with a 65% layout that does give you a little bit more functionality than your usual 60%, like the Philco Majestouch Mini-La that we took a look at a while ago. Compared to a standard 60 or 65% gives you some extra nav cluster keys, and most integrally arrow keys, which are rather useful for day-to-day productivity. It's probably a better layout, all things considered, if you're looking for a compact keyboard for office work, as much as gaming as well. And that premium build quality of the Alloy Origins 65 is also reflected not only within its general frame and its heft for such a dinky keyboard, but also in its textured PBT double shot molded keycaps that feel fantastic under finger. It's nice to see brands putting in some slightly more high quality keycaps compared to the bog standard and more traditionally used ABS caps. As I also mentioned, inside the box you'll notice you get quite a nice patterned spacebar and an extra key. It's become customary over the last couple of years for people to start customizing their keyboards with kind of custom keycap sets and things. It's been going on for years in the enthusiast space, but it's nice that it seems to be making its way into a more mainstream kind of form, as it were, and so it's nice to see HyperX bundling in some extra keys if you do want them, which is rather handy. The premium feel and build is also exuded not only around the front, but also, of course, around the back of the Alloy Origins 65, where you'll find some quite handy rubber pads along the bottom that help the keyboard stay in place on your desk, as well as two-stage feet, which will give you the added comfort of a slightly raised typing angle, which can be quite helpful for ergonomics, and the feet themselves, as you'll see, are made of some rather quite thick plastic, and trying to get them up with one hand is actually quite fiddly. It's just testament to how durable HyperX have made the Alloy Origin 65 in basically every way, from not only the keyboard itself, but also to the feet. And so it's nice to see that these aren't just an afterthought, as they have been in the case of other manufacturers. As I usually say, it's all very well and good having a keyboard that feels rather good, but the most important thing is perhaps performance, especially if you're going to be using it for a light spot of gaming. Well, I'm pleased to say that the HyperX Alloy Origin 65 is rather good indeed. You won't find any analog or special switches here, as you'll see from the close-up there. Kind of HyperX's own red switches, which fundamentally offer you a light and snappy experience with a 45 centinewton force, and that should be great for FPS gaming. Actually, in terms of general MX clones, as it were, these are probably some of the most substantial and kind of better ones out there compared to others that I've used in the past. So it's nice to see HyperX putting a bit of thought into these, and they're great for both day-to-day usage and gaming as well, as much as I'm not a fan of more linear switches in a general sense. It's nice to see that HyperX have just gone for something that works here. Red switches have always been some of the best for gamers, and they're certainly rather functional. It goes to prove really that you don't necessarily need all these analog switches and extra bells and whistles that other manufacturers are putting in to get yourself a great gaming experience these days, and the Alloy Origin 65 just goes to prove that. Alongside those rather decent red switches also comes full anti-ghosting and N-key rollover, meaning you won't be getting any missed inputs as such. So that's just handy for peace of mind, and also allows the Alloy Origin 65 to flex its gaming muscles that little bit more. And it's on the front of lighting where the good times continue to roll for the Alloy Origins 65, where it impresses once again with, as you'll see from the video that's rolling around, some rather marvellous and vibrant RGB lighting that by default cycles through a full spectrum of colour, as is typical for gaming keyboards these days. It looks rather smart and pretty classy, and is reflective of the more positive direction that RGB lighting can take a product. Sometimes, as you'll see here, it can kind of help to make those looks a little bit better, but in other instances it can kind of cheapen a product, so it's nice to see that HyperX have gone for the more positive form, as it were. And it's here that leads me on to the only real negative I've got about the Alloy Origins 65, and it's not necessarily to do with the keyboard itself, but it's kind of accompanying software. Of course, in 2022, bundled software is quite a key part of the customization experience for any kind of gaming peripheral you have these days, be it keyboards, mice, headsets, so on and so forth. And HyperX's Ingenuity isn't really the best out there, I must say, compared to the likes of Corsair's IQ or Razer's Synapse. In essence, as you'll see from the footage, this kind of looks more like a reskinned Windows menu. That's kind of reflected in the fact that you can download Ingenuity from the Windows Store and it doesn't run through its own custom installer. But you get very basic functionality here for things like changing the lighting, programming 2 layers of keys, and disabling keys to allow the Alloy Origins 65 to enter a game mode. When it comes to lighting presets, you've only got 7 to choose from, alongside means of changing the brightness and colours, and indeed the speed at which colours changed. For some this may be enough, but compared to what Razer give you with their incredible chroma lighting engine, I can't help but feel that Ingenuity does fall that little bit short. So, in conclusion, should you buy the HyperX Alloy Origins 65? Well, if you're somebody that's looking for a rather compact keyboard that's also rather sturdy, then you'll definitely be in luck here. It's one of the most durable things that we've had the pleasure of reviewing, and it's just a marvellous keyboard when it comes to build quality. And also, if you're hunting for some light and snappy switches and some of the better MX clones out there, then you won't go wrong with the red ones that feature in the Alloy Origins 65 that should be great for both gaming and day-to-day work. And of course, if you're after some rather marvellous RGB lighting that's going to be bright and vibrant, and there's some customization on offer with it too, then you definitely won't go wrong here. All in all, the Alloy Origins 65 represents a great choice for those wanting a slightly more compact keyboard that's packed full of features, and as I say, that rather immense build quality may just swing it your way. Now, all that really remains to be said is that if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe to the channel, and to ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. To follow us on Twitter and indeed Instagram, links should be appearing to those on the screen right about now. And of course, down in the description, if you want to rep the Untitled brand, as it were, there's a whole host of merchandise that's hosted over on Spring. Everything from t-shirts to hoodies to mugs to wall art to pint glasses and everything in between. It's all down there, and it's all of rather good quality. So check that out if you're interested. And of course, if you like any of the kit that we feature in these videos, be it this fantastic HyperX Alloy Origins 65 or any of the other myriads of keyboards, mice, headsets, microphones, and everything else, and laptops too, then there'll be Amazon links down in the description of those respective videos where you can pick all that kit up, of course. So once again, thank you very much for watching.